When it comes to gaming, Linux is gaining more popularity due to the Steam Deck, but how easy is it to game on Linux outside of Steam Deck? In this video, I'm gonna tackle this and share issues that I encountered down the road. I'm using Nobara 39 that, at the time of recording, has 2 ISOs available on its download page, of which one is designed for NVIDIA GPUs. This distro comes directly with Wine and Proton pre-installed, so you will not be needed to configure anything related to this. To not go into too much details, Wine and Proton allows you to run games that are designed for Windows on Linux. You can see the list of games that Proton supports them on the screen now, but this is a lot longer. In order to run games on Linux or any operating system for that matter, you need some gaming clients. In Windows, you are familiar with Steam, GOG or Epic Store, to name a few. Well, in Linux, only Steam is native as far as I know. For the others, you need launchers for game launchers. I'm familiar with Heroic Launcher and Lutris. Heroic Launcher can connect to Epic Store, GOG and Amazon Prime Gaming, while Lutris can connect to those that previously mentioned and more, like Ubisoft Connect, EA Launcher and also Steam. Now, in order to be able to play games that you have on Steam, if the game doesn't have native support for Linux, you will need to go to Settings for that game, click on the Compatibility tab and click on the checkbox that is there. Once checked, you will see a lot of Proton versions if installed, and usually it's the best to select the latest version available in the drop-down list. After that, you will see that the Install button is enabled and you can install the game in Linux. I don't have that many games on Steam and, to be honest, I didn't try to play all that I have, but those that I tried worked without an issue. If you find a game that refuses to run, search on ProtonDB website to see if the game that you wish to install is supported. When we move to Heroic Launcher, we can install games from Epic Store, GOG and Amazon Prime Gaming and see all of them in the library section of the launcher. When you want to install a game, you can configure the Wine settings and choose between Wine and Proton to run it. This option is not available in the Steam client. Some games may not work using Proton, but work using Wine, so I recommend that outside of Steam, your default choice should be Wine, and if that doesn't work, give Proton a shot. When it comes to integrations with other launchers like Ubisoft Connect, I had no issues using Heroic Launcher. Assassin's Creed worked like a charm, I just had to change the Wine settings to use Proton. The games that I have on Epic Store and require EA Launcher simply don't work with Heroic Launcher. I gave as well GTA 5 a shot. After the installation, the game needs to connect to Rockstar Launcher to be in sync with Epic. I was not able to make it work. I tried different versions of Proton and Wine, and for some reason I couldn't actually finish the Rockstar Gaming installation, and in other attempts didn't want to sync with Epic. Maybe I needed more time to invest to make it work, but who knows. I feel that Heroic Launcher falls a bit short when the games that you wanna play have another launcher to install and sync with, so have that in mind. When using it to run games from GOG, I didn't encounter any problems. Cyberpunk 2077 worked well. I tried as well Neverwinter Night, a game that has native support, and I didn't see any issue. I never tried the integration with Amazon Prime Gaming as I don't have any games there. Lutris, from my experience, seems to handle the integration with other launchers a bit better, but feels a bit more complex, not by much. For any game launcher supported, you will need to install it, as I found that like this I had way less issues than simply logging in. After you manage to install the game launcher, let's say Epic Store for example, you will be greeted to the same launcher interface as the one on Windows. When you install a game launcher, you can choose to select what you want to use, Proton or Wine, but by default it uses the operating system's default choice. I found Lutris really inconsistent if you choose to change the default settings without a reboot. I mean, GTA 5 refused to work when doing so. Once reverted to the default settings and rebooted afterwards, I installed the game again and it worked properly. Rockstar Launcher was able to communicate with the Epic Store client and I can enjoy the game. My advice is, if you mess around with the game client wine settings, for example changing from wine to Proton or switching the versions, I will do a restart. When it comes to the GTA 5 experience, it was a bit stuttery on my machine, but for some reason it behaves the same on Windows. Maybe it's like that because I have the frame rate uncapped, who knows. As I don't play the game, I didn't investigate how to fix the stuttering issue. One thing to point out is that if the game is a mess on Windows, don't expect miracles in Linux. In Civilization 6, after I finished installing it and tried to play the game, for some reason I can't click on the continue button. I'm stuck on this screen, nothing works, not even pressing the enter key on the keyboard. It seems that, unfortunately, Heroic Launcher and Lutris don't provide a smooth experience for all games. Sometimes you need to play around with different versions of Proton or Wine in order to run the game, and even then it is not guaranteed that it will work. Using Steam, I didn't play a game that requires another launcher, so I'm not sure if it handles things better than Lutris or Heroic Launcher. To be honest, I had the best experience on Steam, and games work well with Proton. I tested to see if there is any performance difference between Proton 8 and 9, and to be honest, there isn't one in the game that I tested. I'm not sure about the gaming experience though, this may vary from game to game, but my advice is, if it's not broken, don't fix it. And there you go, gaming on Linux has evolved compared to 5 or more years ago. You can enjoy most of the new games on Linux, and the performance difference between Windows and Linux can vary from game to game. If you are interested, I analyzed the 4080 Super's Linux and Windows performance in the video linked in the top right corner, and the 7900 XTX in another video that you can see now in the top right corner. When it comes to ease of gaming, Linux can be a mixed bag. This may vary from launcher to launcher. I believe that if you have most of your games on Steam, you are golden. I can't say bad things about games on GOG and Epic, but to run those, you will need to use Heroic Launcher or Lutris. I would not dismiss gaming on Linux altogether, especially if you go with game-orientated distros like Nobara 39 here. Now it is close to Windows experience. With a bit of work, it can be closed, but Windows still has the upper hand on ease of use for gaming. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up button, drop a comment below, and consider subscribing to the channel. Take care and see you in the next one.